Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of Sane's World. If you're not quite sure who I am yet, my name is Justin Sane, your host of Sane's World, also the guitar player for the band Cruella DeVille. If you want more information on the band, check out some links I always put in the description of the videos. It's heavy, it's loud, it's fast, it's a little on the dirty side. Greatly appreciate it if you check us out. Alright, so let's I'm going to catch you guys up because I haven't done an episode in quite a while. Personal reasons for last week, and I've also been working a lot of overtime, and has left me with very little time to really do anything other than come home, chill, and fall asleep because I've been exhausted. So I'm going to get you guys caught up here. This is the Motley Crue versus versus Mick Mars, basically dysfunctional fiasco at its at its worst. So let me get you guys and girls caught up because this goes back about a week when some things were going on, and I knew that I wasn't going to be doing anything. So I've been kind of watching from behind the scenes and just kind of taking this all in and just I don't know. So let me get you guys caught up. So October of last year, Mick Mars retired from touring with Motley Crue due to his ankylosing spondylitis, issue with the spine and just a lot of health issues. He hasn't been able to basically to tour. He said that he would be willing to record any music with Motley Crue, which, to be honest with you, he hasn't done in a very, very, very long time. But we'll get to that later. So. Motley Crue, they scheduled this, the 2023, this world tour with Def Leppard, and they hired John Five, who was with Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson, to fill in for Mick Mars while they do this tour. So last week, it came out that Mick Mars was basically suing Motley Crue. The reason he was suing Motley Crue was basically, he didn't really have to do this, but he did, was so that financial records could be disclosed so that he could see how much money was coming in from touring. Just hear me out. So basically a war of words has been going on between Motley Crue and Mick Mars. And let me just read some of this to you. So both these articles that I'm going to be kind of sharing with you are from Variety Online, and two articles I'm going to put in the links in the description so you guys can read everything. And I'm not going to be the judge and jury on here. I'm basically just kind of give you the facts of what's going on. I'm not really going to take sides. I will take sides, but I'm going to keep that to myself. Alright, so here, this is from April 6th, again from last week. Again, this is from Variety. Mick Mars speaks out on Motley Crue lawsuit. I can't believe they're pulling this crap. I've carried those bastards for years. The main article begins, these guys have been hammering on me since '87, trying to replace me, says Mars. Talking about his legal efforts to maintain what he claims to be a rightful place in the band's business affairs, even after retiring from touring. So basically, the article starts out and it says, I carried those bastards for years, telling Variety how he thinks his 41-year history with Motley Crue should not end with him facing off with the other three members in the halls of justice. I'm going to kind of skip around here a little bit. They're basically talking about how Motley Crue sees that since he retired from touring, he actually did retire from the band. So that's kind of what Motley Crue's kind of a countersuit is. Again, this is just a lot of dysfunctional crap. Let's see, we got the gloves are clearly off. Crue's replied to Mars' action had their litigation attorney Sasha Frid telling Variety, after the last tour, Mick publicly resigned from Motley Crue, despite the fact that the band did not owe Mick anything, with Mick owing the band millions in advances that he did not pay back. The band offered Mick a generous compensation package to honor his career with the band. Basically, what that was he was getting obviously Mick Mars was getting 25% of the band revenue. They cut that down to 5%. after war awards, okay, we'll come back at 7.5%. And it's, Mick Mars basically said, you know what, I've laid down for you guys long enough. No. So they're saying manipulated by his manager and lawyer, Mick refused and chose to file this ugly public lawsuit in response to Mars saying that he only quit touring but nothing else. Fred said retiring from touring is resigning from the band. The band's primary function is to tour and perform concerts. Let me skip here. This is the post that nikkisixx put on Twitter and Instagram, I believe. Basically just said, sad day for us. We don't deserve this considering how many years we've been propping him up. We still wish him the best and hope he finds lawyers and managers who aren't damaging him. We love you, Mick. So below is basically the entire interview. Mick is saying that Motley Crue through the stadium tour and through this world tour, that a lot of what you hear from the basically the big speakers has not all been live. He says that his guitar parts have been live. That some of Tommy Lee's drum parts may not have been completely live. He basically says that nikkisixx's bass parts have not been live at all. Didn't really say anything about Vince. That's pretty obvious that we can guess that. Motley Crue came back and basically said that Mick couldn't play anymore, and that his for lack of a better word, I guess his skill set has diminished, and that they had backup guitar track basically playing in the background to kind of fill his sound and to fix his or cover up his mistakes that he was playing live. And Mick came back and said that because of his in-ear monitors, sometimes they weren't working correctly. He couldn't actually hear himself play. When that happened, that's when his mistakes came about, because he couldn't hear through his in-ears. So again, just a lot of back and forth crap. I thought this was kind of interesting. Says things get twisted around. This is basically Mick replying to a question. This is again from Variety. Things get twisted around sometimes from other band members. I don't really know if I should say this, but those guys have been hammering on me since 1987, trying to replace me, which I already read. But this is the interesting part. It says they haven't been able to do that because I'm the guitar player. I helped form this band. It's my name. I came up with the Motley Crue moniker. My ideas, my money that I had from a backer to start the band. It wouldn't have gone anywhere. And then I hear stuff from people from like Bob Daisley, who was the bass player from Ozzy on the '84 tour, which this is pretty interesting. When we were touring with him, and Carmine Appice in his 2014 memoir, Daisley recounted a conversation with the other members of Motley Crue on a tour bus in 1984 when they allegedly solicited his advice about firing Mars, and he strongly advised against it, saying Mars was an integral part of the band's chemistry. Daisley retold the story in an interview 4 months ago with Blabbermouth, which is again just like an online news journalist thing, I think. So I thought that was very interesting. Basically talking about things have been blown out of proportion. He saw some specialists, Mick Mars did, and he basically, he got the words from the doctors that basically says there's nothing wrong with him. So yeah, this is just a lot of he said, all sorts of crap. If you guys want to read the complete article on this, it's down in the description. So this came out just yesterday. Let me find this. Okay, so in doing research for this stuff, I actually found this on the news feeds from YouTube and also from Variety. So Motley Crue's manager, Alan Kovac, he's been with him for many years, if not decades. He has basically kind of put a muzzle around the guys in Motley and said, "You guys I don't want you guys talking about this publicly anymore. I'm basically going to tell you I'm going to basically tell the media what is going on." So he set up an interview with the same Variety Online, and I thought this was pretty interesting. It says the headline is "Unpacking Motley Crue's Mess. Manager slams Mick Mars' smear campaign. guitarist lawsuit says he is tired of being bullied. The band manager says Mars has only alleged miming on their part because he's being led along by reps engaging in elder abuse. This is pretty interesting. Mars's camp says the group's alleged gaslighting continues. Okay, so here's the crux of the interview. Until now, the Crue camp had only issued brief statements and a frustrated tweet from nikkisixx, which I read just earlier. But the band's manager of 29 years, Alan Kovac, again, he's from 10th Street Entertainment, was so angered by the interview Mars gave Variety after the suit was filed that he agreed to go on record addressing what he believes are the musician's most serious accusations, including whether or not the group's performances are largely on tape. I have a lot of regret that I'm having to do this, the attorney said, pointing out that he talked to nikkisixx, the group's unofficial leader, out of talking to the press himself, wanting the bassist to keep the high road. Kovac says Mars is coming out with a list of allegations to gain leverage in a smear campaign on Motley. He's attacking the band, and he's done it in a slanderous way with false accusations and misleading the facts to the fans. Mick is not the victim. The victims are Motley Crue and the brand, which Mick is so prideful of. But adds the manager, who says he has always liked and gotten along well with Mick over the last 3 decades. What's upsetting to me is not Mick, but his representatives, who have guided Mick to say and do harmful things to the brand he cares so much. Motley Crue. He has a degenerative disease, and people are taking advantage of him. It's called elder abuse. Interesting. He continues, Mick's representatives have no idea what they've created. But I've stopped the band from speaking on this, so we're not going to turn the fans against Mick. But I'm going to make sure that people understand that Mick hasn't been treated badly. In fact, he was treated better than anyone else in the band, and they've carried him, and they've saved his life. Of course, this goes back many years, about 2004, 2005. Basically, when the group got together with some specialists, and they were able to, have Mick have hip replacement surgery and work some stuff on his back, so he was able to basically, function after years of nobody really knowing if he was alive or dead, to be honest with you. Kovac mentions that nikkisixx once famously got a tattoo of Mars. This was again done by Kat Von D, which was on. I might be able to throw this up here so you can show you guys this. It was pretty cool.
How old was I when I met you?
Gunner's age, 17.
I was 17, right?
17.
And yes, I saw you play that night, right?
Yep.
Okay, you've been my favorite guitar player ever since then. So.
He's like, dude, I don't want to see your.
No. It's all good. It's all good. You ready?
You're not going to whip out a pipe.
No, I'm not whipping anything out. You ready? I've got your portrait tattooed on my leg.
Wow. That ain't.
Yes, it is!
To show his loyalty to him. To McPherson, though, who is Mick's lawyer, though that doesn't count for much now, says the guitarist attorney. Just because you get a tattoo of someone does not mean that you get to oust them from your band's corporations and LLCs 41 years after they start with you. So the filing by Mars's lawyer Thursday had at its core one simple request. Again, the band basically divulged the financial records that they've, revenue that they've been taking in, so they can kind of settle this thing, basically to figure out if Mick is entitled his rightful percentage of the Motley Crue. And there's a lot of there's under the Motley Crue umbrella, there's about six or seven sub companies that are operating at the same time, and some are taking money in, some are not, some are functioning, some are ongoing, some are not. So basically Mick wants all these financial records basically disclosed so we can take a look at it, and so they can go to arbitration and figure out is he do this or not. So it's basically just it's all about money basically. Three essential questions have captured the curiosity of Motley Crue fans and the merely curious since last week's lawsuit and Mars's follow-up interview. Did he quit the band as the others would have it, or is he being ousted? Does retiring from touring constitute resigning altogether? So yeah, basically that's the main crux. But Mick basically saying that Motley was playing not completely live show. That is a huge allegation. There was a thing back in, I think it was the Kansas City date. This is of course last summer. When Tommy Lee jumps on a drum set after the drum tech was trying to fix something, and a drum sound basically started before Tommy had even sat down, and it just kind of grew to a thing of what's going on with this band. My two favorite bands in the entire world, Motley Crue and Kiss, seem to be the most dysfunctional right now, and it's very sickening. It's saddening. It's just unbelievable. Of course, now both bands are on their second farewell tour, and it's just. And I've said this before in other videos that regarding basically Motley Crue and this goes the Van Halens and basically the Rats and all these bands that are still around, which a lot of them are still kicking ass. But I am really grateful to have been on this earth as long as I have, because I've gotten to see all these bands in their fucking prime, and I have not had to deal with any of this crap. Basically, you got up, you saw a band, and they kicked your ass, and there was so much energy behind it. And now it's just like these bands are just, I don't know, it's just not the same. Sad but true. It's not the same. There's their bands on stage, and they're older, and they're just, I don't want to say they're going through the motions, but it's clear that they're older. If you go back and watch, Motley stuff back in even in the 90s, early 2000s, they got up on stage and they kicked ass, and they were just running around and just doing all sorts of just kick-ass stuff. And now it's just, I don't know, they're just basically just standing up there walking around in circles, and I don't know, it's just not the same. And bands, please know when to stop. I understand the music business the way it is. Bands aren't selling music anymore, so the way they make money is through touring. But what we're getting now is subpar. Just being brutally honest, it's subpar. If you go, again, even if you're younger, go back and watch some of the stuff from Kiss or even Motley Crue back in the 90s, and the late 80s, early, they were just brutal. They kicked ass, and you just don't get that now. So I'm really grateful that I got to see all these bands, in their prime, when I was obviously younger too. I really do miss this stuff. So again, the link to these two articles are in the description of this video. So go ahead and definitely check this out. Huge news. Dysfunction Junction, basically, in Motley Crue camp, and I please guys, figure this shit out. Yeah, because you guys deserve it. Us fans, we deserve it, and I'm sure these guys and these bands don't want to have to deal with this for the next 10 years. They just want to get together, have fun, get up on stage and kick ass for us. I'm sure that's what they want. That's sure as hell is what we want. We don't want all this crap. So again, I'm really lucky I got to see these bands in their prime. So, all right, everybody, that's all I have for this episode. If you like what you hear, like what you see, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. For sure, hit that notification bell. That way you're notified for sure anytime I upload any new videos for you guys, the hard rock and heavy metal fans of the world. I'm not a journalist. Plain and simple. A lot of these guys on YouTube are. I'm not. I'm just a musician, and I'm a huge music fan, and if I feel like putting a video out about something like this, I will. If it's something that I don't want to go public with, or if I think that I might put, a band's name in bad light, I don't do it. At the detriment of the channel, because I know a lot of this stuff gets views for other channels. God bless them. But I'm just different. I'm just a musician. I'm a music fan. I'm in the merch lines with you guys. I'm in the beer lines with you guys. I'm burning up those Ticketmaster phone lines trying to get through, for hours trying to get tickets to these shows. I'm just like you guys. So, yeah. Feel free to hit me up on Instagram. The band is on there. It's cruella.deville.music. I'm on there as well. It's justinsane.music. Hit us up. Also, the band's website, it's cruelladeville.com. We got some kick-ass news up there, some badass merch. First singles on there. Be greatly appreciated if you check us out. That's all we have. Until next time, I love you guys. Stay metal. Stay rad. Definitely keep it heavy. I'll see you guys very soon. Guys, take care. Love you guys.